agree with you on the stuff you were saying there. But like deep down, like, do you think, in your opinion, do you think the amount of education that a population has increases or decreases the quality of people you're electing?
It should increase, but the problem here in the United States is that our education system sucks. Our education system is it's not okay. For being a very educated country, we suck at education. And what I mean by that is this: it would make sense. You guys could back me up here. It would make sense, or better yet, take it away from the country. I'm a dad, right? Hypothetically speaking, I've got 4 kids. My first kid is really good in school, right? My second kid is decent in school. My third kid is dog shit in school, and my last kid wants to run away, right? Where are most of my resources gonna go? Like think about it. That's the bottom half. Yeah. Most of my resources are gonna go into trying to make sure that those kids get the education that they need. Why? I don't have to worry about the first kid. The first kid's killing it. The first kid's on top. The second kid is decent in school. I kind of have to worry about him sometimes. Maybe I'll meet with the teacher every now and then, just a little checkup. Like, hey, how's he doing? Is it good? Okay, bye. See you later. I'll send you a Christmas card. Like, but those last 2, all my resources have to go into those last 2. I have to try to make sure that those 2 kids are like doing what they're supposed to do. I got to make sure that they do their homework. I got to double check. One of them is dyslexic, so I got to make sure I do this. One of them is like here and there, blah, blah, blah. I need to make sure I get the money from somewhere to make sure that I get, right? Like immediately everybody's first thought in here was like, those last 2 need all your attention, right? Blow that up into a country and it works the same way. If your lower income communities have all been negatively affected by Jim Crow, historically speaking, right? And they've had generation after generation of low income poverty, trauma, addiction, and all those things. If that was your last kid, and as a country, it was your job to make sure that the societal impact of your entire country, the growth of your country, the well-being of your country relies on everybody's happiness and success for economic freedom or whatever, but all of the above, all of the resources have to go to what? Those communities, right? That's the most logical thing to think about. We just did it in real time with a small batch, right? And it was instinctual because I made you think, oh, this is my kid, it's my child, right? The country, a smart country, would do that. A smart country would say, why do I have to worry about the private school kid? Why? For what? The parents are already paying for it. The kid's going to come out great. It's probably going to be our next senator because they've got everything lined up. Trust fund, baby, blah, blah, blah. I don't got to think about you.
But the thing is,
I have to think about this batch of black and brown kids that are over here that are suffering because their parents are suffering, because their grandparents were suffering. I've got to put resources into that. And instead, not all the rich people, because there's a lot of really good rich people. So I have to try my best to not make it like a binary thing. But there is a whole political movement in this country that is dedicated to making sure that things get funded that don't make any logical sense in terms of the well-being of the country. It only makes logical sense if 1, they're trying to get richer, 2, they're trying to get more power, or 3, they're trying to make sure that capitalism keeps working the way that it works, right? Which is kind of tied to the richer part. That's what I mean by our education is dog shit. It's not that we actually can't educate. Some of the brightest minds are in this country. Facebook was made here. All of the apps that you use on your phone was made here. All of the iOS that we run on our phones, that's made here. It's not like we can't produce smart people. We know how to produce smart people, right? The problem is that the education itself being there or available is not the problem. The problem is that our elected officials, i.e. mom and dad in the hypothetical that I brought up earlier, are not allocating the proper funds into the thing that it deserves. And we've diluted that kind of population with so much grief and so much things that they're dealing with poverty and the inner city kids and all that jazz. Mind you, I'm not necessarily just talking about black and brown kids. I'm talking about rural America. I'm talking about
white kids.
Appalachia. I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about like the small town that's dying in Mississippi. I'm talking about white people too, right? That part of your electorate needs to get educated too, and you can fund resources to that. You can create incentives that says, you know what, you want to be a doctor? It makes sense why you want to go to the Texas Children's here in Houston, Texas, because this is where the best cancer research is being done. But how about this? We'll pay you time and a half if you go and work in Mississippi. so that you can bring up that
economy,
so you can be a valuable member of that economy and bring that up. We'll pay you double what that same position gets paid in San Francisco, but we'll pay you double so you can do it in Odessa, or so that you can do it in Appalachia, or you could do right like. But no, it doesn't happen because there's a lot of money that goes in to making sure that things get funded in a very specific way, and instead of the things that make logical sense. Enter cut to election year. All of those politicians know that, especially on the right. And what do they have to do? One, they already know that you're uneducated. And I say that in quotations because I'm not actually calling you uneducated. I'm just saying that you don't have the proper tools to funnel through information correctly, right? But they know that you're uneducated, and they know that all they have to do is give you somebody to think is the enemy. And most of the time, the enemy looks like me, or like you, or like a migrant, or like a Muslim, or like a terrorist, or right? Like all they have to do is give you an enemy, and you fall right in line. Yeah. You fall back into your fear tactics, and you're like, man, there goes this man in a white and black suit, and he's telling me that this person's taking my job, even though I live in rural Arkansas, and I don't even see nobody that looks like what they're saying. But I'm afraid, bro. I'm afraid.
In the Latin community, it's that, but within our own community.
Yeah,
which is another problem.
Yeah,
because you know how many times I've heard, we have a joke in our podcast sometimes where it's like, the Venezuelans and the Cubans come to America or Canada, and it's like immigration. They get here, gotta close those borders. That's a joke that's been told by a million comedians, but it's fucking true.
For real?
Not necessarily
it's
Venezuelan or Cubans, but Latino Americans and Canadians, to be honest. Within our own family or within our close-knit group, I'll fucking do anything for you. I'll do anything. The minute you're outside of that group, no. You're going to take that from me.
Yeah.
No.
And this is why people are like, I've seen conservatives make fun of the fact that like there's been leftists that say like, oh, there's internalized whiteness there. What internalized whiteness, at least in this country, I'm not sure about Canada, but at least in this country, what that means is that people don't think that they're actually white. That's not what internalized whiteness means. What internalized whiteness means is that somewhere deep down inside of them, they think that now that they got a piece of paper and a little card that gives them the right to vote and makes them a citizen of this country, that they now have all of the privileges that come with the people that they were scared to be around because they were in potential danger. And because of that shield, which doesn't really exist because you're still brown, my guy. Like, the cop's going to stop you just the same, right? Like, but that's what internalized whiteness means. It doesn't mean that people want to be white or that think that they're white or that this identity politics shit. No. All we're doing is shedding a spotlight on the fact that that in this specific case, there's people that were undocumented, that were scared to be around certain people, that were scared to talk about their life story, that were scared to do because of X, Y, and Z, and they were scared to be around very specific types of people, and that they knew were American.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they get their green card and their citizenship, and they're like, bro, I can hang out with those people now. All I've wanted to do my whole life is hang out with those people. All I wanted to do for my whole life, again, this goes back to this hero complex and this and that, like, if you grow up thinking that you're second-class citizen, and then all of a sudden you've always looked at the people that stand over there as like, man, those are the people to be, and then you all of a sudden get the privilege to be over there, you start acting like those people. It's just complete human nature. Yeah. Right? Instead of rationalizing like or empathizing with your own history. Fuck somebody else that you're watching, right? Your own history, your own memories.
Your own family.
Instead you're like, nah, but I'm here now. It's up. It's up now. Like, I'm here. Y'all can't stop me. Fuck off. And then they get into Wolf of Wall Street mode. They get into what's the name of the guy? I keep saying Leo, but like, what's the name of the main character?
I can't remember his name, man.
But they get into Leo Wolf of Wall Street mode where they're like, fuck it, I get to do whatever I want now. Yeah. I get to be like this and this and that, blah, 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 right? Again, it goes back to the psychology that I'm saying. And on the media side, everything is driven by fear. Fear is by far, at least currently right now, the biggest motivator to make sure that people end up voting between one interest and the other. And it's all driven by fear.
And if
I can get you scared, you'll be on my side.
Yeah, it's fear on both sides because that happened in the last election too.
Yeah, 100%. It's 100% fear on both sides. Mind you, I have to be clear about this too. This is not an endorsement of Kamala Harris or the Democrats. This is not an endorsement of
Trudeau.
of Trudeau. At least on my end, this is I'm speaking for me. Yeah. This is not an endorsement of the Democratic Party of the United States. Fuck them too. What I'm saying is that we have got to do better as people in general, the electorate, both conservatives and liberals, in terms of how the government actually works. So education, again, to your point, super key. But two, something that I've said many times on this podcast, stop idolizing these fucking politicians. They're fucking public servants. They should have term limits. And the moment, going back to your vote of confidence, the moment that they lose your vote of confidence, they need to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
They need to get the fuck 100%. Out because they're not there to be celebrities. I can give two shits, right? Like election day, people were talking about how AOC might be pregnant. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I can give two shits if she's pregnant. Why do I care? Like, you know what I mean? But they're trying to they're trying to talk about it to get some media spin in the same way when Kim Kardashian gets pregnant. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. If she is pregnant, good for her. Let her do whatever the fuck she wants. But that's not what she's there for. If she's pregnant and she has a bad policy for the Bronx needs to get her the fuck out. I don't care that she's a liberal. I don't care that she's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? And therein lies my point. Is that people will look at everything that I just said and I can guarantee you I'm going to clip this and people are going to go online and they're going to say, oh, it's just some lib crying because he lost and this and that. But that's not even what I'm saying. I'm not even saying like, oh, a Democrat should be in power. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that a Democrat should be in power. I'm saying that there's something wrong with the way that the machine that is, whether it's conservative media or liberal media or politics in general, the way that it runs, that is affecting us negatively on a psychological level, and they know it. Oh, yeah. They can guide it because they have these tech billionaires that will buy a whole company for $44 billion, devalue it like shit, and then all of a sudden put nothing but right-wing propaganda on there. All why? All because one of his kids is trans. That's the only reason. So if they can do that in a 4-year lifespan, imagine what they can do with 20. Imagine what they can do with 24, with 25. Now you're looking at a whole different type of environment of a country that was once the big brother and the leader or this or innovator or whatever. Debatable, because even if you go through history, there's some problem areas there when you dissect it. But you're looking at a very different landscape, and it's all because all these people, 300 million people at any given point in time, are too busy trying to fight each other or demonize an other. And also, 300 million people that are all afraid. Mm-hmm. If they're not afraid of the migrant taking their job, they're afraid that they're gonna that they're not in a safe space anymore in regular life. You know what I mean? And that's not a good way for any country to have prosperity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And most of these people who are like feel certain things, like the last point you made, like these people are afraid that these immigrants are going to take our jobs and all this kind of stuff. Those people that say that shit don't have the self-awareness to know I'm never going to do that fucking job. So that Mexican or that Indian person, whoever that's coming in and taking the job as a dishwasher or a laborer, I don't want to do that job.
Right.
So
jobs can't be stolen. Like, there is a corporate head of your job that is in charge of cutting costs. And you are a cost. Every single employee and every single company is a cost to that company because they have to send you a check by law. So if they can do the same job for less pay, they will take it. You didn't get your job stolen, my guy. You got your job taken away from you by your corporate boss that wants to get a little bit more money.
They don't blame the corporate boss.
And why don't they blame them? I explained it, right? Because they blame the other guy because they don't want to blame the boss, because they want to one day be the boss. They want to one day walk in with the new Porsche 911 and be like, yeah, my hard work can get me here. They want to walk in and say, yeah, I started this business from the ground up, and be able to walk in and be like, I take vacations in Italy now. They want to latch on to that dream instead of being like, nah, bruh, this is something like I'm putting my anger at the wrong person. This is the exact same reason why, like, we've talked about this too. And it's funny when we talk about it, but It's this exact same reason why when certain people get cheated on, they fight the person that they cheated with instead of fighting the dude that's in your relationship or the girl that's in your relationship, right? It makes no sense because you want to latch on to this weird notion of whatever it is that's keeping you going. You know what I mean? It's silly. It's ridiculous. But I'm really happy that somebody from Canada brought this. You started this, bro.
I started this.
You started this. Yeah, you started this talking shit.
I don't know, man. Like the last couple months, like after Biden won, I finally was like, I don't have to fucking watch the news anymore. I'm like, shit's gonna happen, whatever happens. And then the COVID, all that COVID shit, I just wanted to get out of there. Then now
he did a decent job too. Biden
did decent. From what I know, he did a lot. And like from family members I have that live in the States, you know, a lot of them are doing better now than they were before.
Talk your shit.
Yeah, but
Alberto, talk your shit.
At the same time,
even Canada knows you're doing better.
Yeah, they're doing way better. The only reason, look, the misconception is that it was a combination of everything you were talking about. But majority of it is like that the money being pumped into these fucktards doing all this, talking all this shit, the alpha male bullshit and all this kind of crap. Talking about the fact that, you know, Trump sent you those checks. The economy was better under Trump. All this shit. Yeah, he sent you those. He didn't fucking send you his own money. He signed the fucking check with his signature. First president ever fucking do that, from my understanding. No one else has ever done.
I can give two shits if he signed a check or not.
But all these people that are uneducated or not really knowledgeable as to what's going on, they think, oh, Donald Trump sent me a check.
It's just pageantries, yeah.
Same with the, what's the other thing? Oh, COVID. No, the economy. The economy was better under Trump. Yeah, because he had, the last year was a COVID year, so of course everything was good up until then. Yeah. And then Biden had to do from zero back up. Same thing
below
when you guys,
zero, my guy.
Same thing
below
when you guys
zero.
had the fucking
the housing crash.
Market.
Yeah, the housing crash.
Obama came in, fixed it all.
Again, the economy always does better under Democrats. I don't understand what the fuck. So it's so hard, bro. Like the economy always does better under Democrats, and then Republicans go in on some fear tactic shit, fuck up the economy, give a lot of rich people a lot of money, and then they get transferred out of power. A Democrat fixes it, and for that one period of time that it's like a little bad, the Republicans are like, look what they're doing to you. Look what they're fucking doing to you. And they're like, my guy, we're trying to fix your mess. You're the one that threw up on the floor, and I'm just trying to clean it up.
I